All right, so somebody asked, I think it was Load, wanted to know about stage 1 kits for your hop-up these mud motors like this. Are they durable? Are they reliable? How much can you push these motors without sacrificing any reliability? First of all, you have to understand these motors are just power generator motors. Where the reliability gets sketchy is when you start running high RPM. And by high RPM, I mean higher than 3,600 RPM that they're designed to run. You know, if you keep the RPM down, you're just not going to have any problems with reliability. In that case, stage 1 kits are not going to, in my personal opinion, based on my own experience, you're not going to notice any extra wear on the engine or the longevity of the engine just from putting in an open element air filter, rejetting the carburetor, and putting a free-flowing exhaust on it. Let the engine breathe easier. That's all you're doing. The question is what is horsepower? Well, it's work. It's, well, what's the formula? Is it torque times RPM divided by 5252, whereas 5252 probably has something to do with atmospheric pressure, things like that, and that's all math. It's just math. How do you make more horsepower? Burn more gas. You're going to cram more air in, which means you have to burn more fuel to compensate, and that's why you have to rejet the carburetor if you use an open element air filter. Even if all you did was put on a better exhaust, you'd probably have to rejet still because you're getting more of that mixture, burnt mixture out, and so you have to, you know, and it's gonna, by definition, suck more air in. You're gonna have to make some adjustment for the fuel. In fact, I don't care if I bought a genuine Honda, I would do a stage 1 modification plus the marine mods that you see here, which the class is still up if for those of you are interested. The free element air filter allows more air to get into the motor. You have to rejet the carburetor to compensate to get more fuel in so you can get the proper mixture, and then that more fuel mixture in the combustion chamber makes for a bigger bang, a bigger explosion. It's like a bigger warhead, and that drives the piston down harder, that turns the propeller harder, that makes more horsepower. You add to that a free-flowing exhaust, almost of the back pressure, almost like a supercharging effect. It pulls more air out, almost like a turbocharging effect, except you're only working with 1 atmosphere, which, you know, I don't, but anyway, you're going to make more power. Now, how much are you going to notice? And you're probably not going to notice a whole lot of difference in your speed and all that. You will notice, however, how much extra fuel you're burning, which is the whole reason why I tell people, if you're going to do that, go ahead and get the marine gas tank. You're not really doing enough modification to the engine to see any massive, massive gains. My personal opinion, the open element air filter and exhaust make the engine easier to work on. It's just easier to get to stuff. Whereas the stock stuff is all designed to kind of look pretty, and it just makes it harder to work on the engine. Don't be buying all these kits, man. Look, they put a timing key in there, some of them. Don't be worrying about timing if you're not running high RPM. If you're just going to be running, if you're not doing any internal modifications to the engine itself, just run the stock timing with the stock flywheel and don't do anything else. You start doing timing, if you're going to take that flywheel off, you just as well put a billet flywheel on. If you put a billet flywheel on, you just as well put a billet connecting rod in. You just as well upgrade the camshaft. You just as well rebuild the entire inside of the engine and go ahead and get the benefit from the higher timing, which by definition, the timing is built into your modern flywheels, like the arc flywheel. You don't have to even worry about it. You just use your stock timing key and it'll work. The best way to get more horsepower is just to bolt on a bigger engine, more displacement. I mean, think about it. This is a 200cc engine, displaces 200 cc's, you know, or 196. If you get a 390 or a 420, or basically a 400cc motor, where you just doubled your horsepower. Why? Because you have twice the displacement. The thing is capable of burning twice as much gas, therefore it makes twice as much power. So this motor is 6.5 horsepower, and it's probably running 10 or 11 horsepower right now. If I had a big block, I could take that and have it running 20 to 22 horsepower. It's very easy to double the horsepower of these engines. It's very easy to cut the lifespan of these engines down by about half. So, you know, it's always a trade-off. If reliability is your #1 thing, do not go past stage 1, period. The marine class is still up. To convert to a marine gas tank, I think, you know, that's what I would rather have if I were going to be doing nothing but stage 1. There you go. See ya.